so interesting to think about what is futuristic or what is so far out now, but come next fall and 1 year from now, or maybe 2 years from now, it's going to seem such a given.
Mhm.
There are so many times in my lifetime in this industry where I'm like, oh, that's awful. Like I'll never wear that. Or that's not something that will ever catch on.
Yep.
And then I eat my words. I'm like, sure, shit it did. Do you have a brilliant product idea, but don't know where to start to get it made? Or are you looking to level up your product, but afraid to take it overseas?
If so, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Jackie.
And I'm Erin, and we are
The Sourcing Gals,
your trusted guides to everything you need to know about sourcing, manufacturing, and scaling your product overseas. Whether you are just starting out or you've been making your own product for a while, we are here to help women source products overseas without the overwhelm.
In each episode, we'll share insider tips, actionable strategies, and inspiring stories to help you source more effectively, save time, and boost your profits.
Duh!
We know how hard it can be to juggle the ins and outs of product development, but don't worry, we've got your back.
So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into how you can grow your business,
make more money,
and turn your products into profit. Welcome to
The Sourcing Gals. Now let's get started. High five.
Hi.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of
The Sourcing Gals.
Okay, this is a fun one. Just fun. I'm excited about this. And I'm excited because you're kind of the pro here. So you're going to be able to teach me a lot of things. But today we're going to talk about trends that we're loving.
I feel like fall is such
It's my season.
Perfect trend moment.
It is. I love layering. So I love a jacket. I love what's called a second layer in the retail world. So anything I could throw on, a cardigan, a jacket, and then I also love accessorizing. So give me scarves and a hat and all the things. So definitely fall is my most favorite. Now I say fall, cool weather fall. Fall here in Ohio sometimes can still be 90 degrees. So that doesn't really help.
Yes.
But I'm talking when the weather turns and you actually get to really get into true fall and leaves changing in winter. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what's inspiring us right now, where we look for it, and how it could be beneficial for your business. And if it's necessary, even for your product-based business, to know what's happening in the market. So let's kick it in here right now, kicking us off. Let's talk about fall. How are we feeling about fashion right now and what you're seeing out there? And,
I think you said it a few weeks ago that it was underwhelming out there.
yes.
And I don't disagree. I think some of that has to just do with the market right now.
I think
retail,
the tariffs. I think
tariffs,
literally people
just didn't bring in new
froze
things.
and didn't bring new stuff in. And so I remember we were looking for outfits to go and speak in Las Vegas. I was like, Erin, I'm at the mall and all I see is what we call a summer hangover. It was summer styles on clearance or still things that really looked like summer. And I was ready for fall. I was ready for weather appropriate fall looks. And to be honest, both of my outfits that I wore, which is hilarious. I was actually willing to go and spend money. I went to Saks. I'm like, I'm cool. I will spend money for this thing. I ended up finding a cute, adorable dress at H&M because their floor set did look amazing in my mind. Fall was there and they were owning it. And then I found some second layers at Target. I'm like, I found these great double-breasted blazers at Target. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's just the universe saying, see, Jackie, you don't have to go spend $300 on a dress. You can just go to H&M and Target and feel good.
Absolutely. And for personal styling, high-low is my favorite thing to do.
Yes.
But this fall, H&M did have some good stuff. And the stuff they had was stuff that I'm particularly drawn to this fall, which is mixture of textures.
Yep.
So a lot of satins, shine, and then the suedes and wools, and just that's what screams fall to me. And every year, the manner by which these textures come out are different.
Yeah.
But some years it's the Sherpas and the bouclés and maybe fisherman sweaters. And some years it's different. But this year I love the mixture of the high shine satins and the super matte suedes.
Yeah. Yeah. I have on my list for fall, I want a suede shoulder bag. And I've never had a suede shoulder bag, but I'm like, no, I want one now.
Like I'm going to have one.
Yeah, I'm going to have one now. So,
and the chocolate brown.
Oh yeah. It's funny. So we'll get into it, but Pinterest is calling it like coffee and food inspired colors. And they're calling like the espresso martini color and like all of those browns. I'm definitely vibing on it. And again, I bought a couple things from H&M that were leaning in heavy to the browns, and even in home decor, the browns coming like in a major way, which is exciting, something different and new. It feels like after a while of not seeing that color in a big way.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny because we talk about trend. It's like, what's cool now, but I never, and this might just be a product of me being on earth for longer, but when I see something, I'm like, oh yes, that again.
Yes.
Like, oh yes, chocolate brown again. We did this, that dress I wore in Vegas.
I know.
I wore a chocolate brown satin dress that, did I actually end up wearing it? No, I wore the navy one.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
But I bought it in maybe 2010. Diane von Furstenberg. It was like one of my first kind of designery purchases. I bought it in Hong Kong.
Yep.
And I pulled it out of my closet and I was like, this is going to have another go.
It's back.
Yes. Yes. But, those are two of the things I'm loving. In fact, like to be uber specific, there's a pair of like pointed toe sling back flats at Nordstrom right now that are brown suede. And I am like, I have literally been thinking about them since the day I saw them.
So I think that means it's probably time to click to purchase.
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a couple of things that I'm actually kind of wearing a little nod to it, but I love this kind of throwback prep look. I've always kind of liked it. It's always been my vibe. And now it's back and cool. So, and in new riffs, right? Like I've just been pinning a lot. I'll just pin a bunch of outfits and make a board of it. And then obviously Instagram or, Pinterest will start like feeding you, right? All the things. So I'm short, but I like my legs. So I love a mini skirt. So I'm excited to see a lot of, and I also like a knee high boot just looks good on me as well. It's just like my proportions. I can't really, the ankle boot is hard for me. It cuts me off. So I'm seeing a lot of like really cute looks of like mini skirt, knee high boots and like sheer tights. I'm like, oh, I'm so here for those looks. And then even paired with a cute sweatshirt with like a graphic. And I'm just always a sucker for a graphic tee. I think again, my OG roots back to being a graphic t-shirt merchant. And then my last 8 years working for a screen printing company as well. I love a good graphic. I think it's fun personality and I love patterns. So it's a fun way to get pattern in. So I'm definitely like vibing on those looks. I think what's in my closet that I might have isn't totally checking the box. So I'm going to have to invest in a few new versions of things, but it makes me happy when I see those outfits. And that's what fashion is supposed to do. It's supposed to
absolutely
make you happy and feel confident wearing it.
And you know what I love about the preppy trend, particularly this fall, is that it takes on so many different personalities. So you have this like, hit me baby one more time, mini plaid pleated skirts, like a Clueless, a 90s, a Britney.
That's not my preppy, like, but yes,
that's a thing.
Yes.
And then we have the, kind of like, again, 90s, J. Crew, the like
Gossip
coastal, the Gossip Girl. And then we have this old money collegiate.
Yeah.
So we have these different ways people are wearing the preppy trend.
Yep.
You have the mixture of preppy with athleisure, which is everyone's dying for the Princess Diana trend, the sweatshirt with the bike shorts. And so you just, any way that this trend is kind of coming to the surface, you can find a way that maybe fits your personality or your lifestyle.
Definitely.
I go more toward like the super minimalists, like soft ribbed varsity sweaters, slightly oversized. That's where I'm.
Yeah, where I'm like, give me the patches, give me the graphics, give me the fun. Like I'm wearing a hot pink tipped sweater right now, like little cardigans. So yeah, I'm excited to have fun with fashion. It was actually on my Pinterest board. And I talked about this a long podcast ago, I feel like, but I said like, I want to get back to feeling good in what I'm wearing and having fun with fashion. I feel like for a while I was just blending in so much, and I like color and I like pattern. And at this point, I don't care if it's maybe not the most flattering thing. If it makes me happy, it makes me feel good and confident, like I'm going to have fun with it. So I'm really planning to bring a lot more of that color And again, I think this trend of varsity, there's fun ways that feel really authentic to me and like my heritage of how I actually really do like to dress. Like I love a patched army jacket and I love a collegiate, I love stripes and things like that. So I'm excited to get new versions of it and just refresh the wardrobe, start leaning into it more.
What I've been on the lookout for? I might have to go. I don't know if I'm going to have to go thrifting. Maybe not. But I want one of the old school 90s rugby shirts that has the old like rubber buttons. Do you know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean.
I had one when I was probably
Everett has some out in their new iteration. They're actually really cute. They do.
Maybe I should go
wide striped rugby with the collar, like the whole thing. Yeah.
So I found a really cute one in the boys department at H&M.
Totally.
But they didn't have my size. It was like a clearance. Like it was probably something from summer, but
they do have them. I just saw them literally on one of the front tables there. Really cute.
All right.
So yeah, there you go.
I'll hit it.
Hooking you up. And actually, speaking of thrifting, I think this is something very important. So if you guys are Pinterest fans, or if you're not on Pinterest, get on Pinterest. It's just so fun to go down a wormhole of like creativity.
It is. I've rediscovered it recently.
Me too.
Because Maeve, she wants social media so bad. And I'm like, that's a no.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
But I did let her have Pinterest.
That's so great. That is such a good workaround.
And she is like obsessed with it. Now I'm obsessed with it. We're like sitting on Pinterest together. We're like making boards of our outfits. It's so fun.
So my point was Pinterest comes out every season with like a recap. And I'm telling you, I'm going to pull it up on my phone because it is amazing and it is data driven. So if you are, we've been talking about what we personally love for style, but if you're thinking about your business and you're thinking about if trend, whether it's super macro or even down to like the color level, if it's something that could affect your product-based business, Pinterest puts out a quarterly review and they just launched their fall 2025. So like literally the season we're in, like what are people wanting right now? And so it's really cool. And it's all based on search terms through Pinterest.
Oh, wow.
So this one talks about this fall, fashion is all about statement layers and vintage twists, bringing new life to thrifted pieces. Preppies making a bold comeback. So their classic prep women's preppy outfits has a 47,000% increase on search term in Pinterest. So if that doesn't tell you something, and speaking of vintage, they're talking about how basically this fall, Gen Z is driving a powerful shift towards thrifting and sustainable shopping, making secondhand style not only smart, but stylish. Gen Z now accounts for more than 50% of Pinterest users searching for dream thrift finds have skyrocketed 550%, along with vintage fall aesthetic is up 1,000%. So it's just really interesting. And it goes through down to like accessories. So it's saying like vintage watches are back and people are searching for vintage watches. And my favorite, patchwork clothes. So I texted my girlfriends like, guys, I'm cool before it was even cool. So I love thrifting in general, not as much for clothing, but I like to repurpose things. And I'm always on the hunt for a good quilt, a vintage quilt, and I'll make it into jackets and skirts. And my quilt board has been going off the hook these days because there's so much happening. And now obviously people are making really successful online businesses out of repurposing. But my point is they have literally everything down here, even to home decor. They're saying like Art Deco, statement tiles, cubicle chic. So if you have a product-based business that could make sense in someone's cubicle at work with everyone going back to work, they want to make it feel not so corporate. So my point was saying all this, they have makeup, it's free, it's on Pinterest, and it's data driven. And so I think it's a great tool. And I say polka dots are back, which I also love a good polka dot. That's kind of like, again, a classic preppy staple.
Oh my goodness. I had this moment this weekend, sorry to pivot, where I think it was before we went to Las Vegas, where I realized, I had this realization that I had this polka dot Alice and Olivia sweater and I donated it.
Oh,
I don't have it anymore. And I was standing in my closet like, where is that sweater? And I was like, it came over me. Oh,
gave it away.
I gave it away.
Yeah. See, it all comes back. It all comes back. So my point is obviously Pinterest is one way. We were also just at Magic, the trade show that we've talked about a lot. And that is another great way to trend spot, right? We're looking at booths of wholesale vendors that are showing what they've already designed and developed for the future. So that's another great way to see kind of what's coming down the pipeline, what people are buzzing about.
I love that because when we go to trade shows, a lot of times we're like looking at factories, we're looking at raw materials, we're looking at things on this like granular level. But when you do go over, we went over to the other side of the show that had the buying side, and seeing the fashion, seeing the trends, seeing the prints and the patterns. That was so interesting.
And what I think is actually cool about the sourcing side, I can tell you, it was years ago. I was walking the footwear vendor side of sourcing, so the magic, but on the sourcing side, and we were seeing all of this, the 3D, I'll say Crocs in air quotes, but the 3D
plastic
charms and the charms that they were using on them were amazing. It was puffy bows and chains. And like that was before it was happening in the US market. So it was happening over in the Asia markets. And then next thing you know, the next year, Crocs is upping their 3D embellishment and charms, and people are doing dupes of it, and they're blowing up like crazy on Amazon.
Jewelry,
you know,
and it just took
and charms in general, right? So you can sometimes even see it because the manufacturers are the first to make it, right? And a lot of those trends are happening on the other side of the globe, and then we're, as a U.S. market, a lot of times the last to get influenced, to be honest. So there is even some of that trend spotting that you can do as you're walking sourcing sides of shows and seeing what textures, what new materials are people working into. If Sherpa's kind of downtrending, maybe it is the shine and, or jacquards or whatever it is that's coming in new. You can even see it on like the fabric research and development side before it's even going to make its way into a sweater or apparel. So just things to keep in mind when you're at those trade shows.
Yeah. And I think that it's hard when you're looking at those trends, if you own a business, to be like, what part of this should I be capturing?
Totally.
Like, should I be following a trend? Should I be paying attention? What's going on? And I really think it comes down to who's your customer.
Yep.
Knowing what they like. If they're very conservative when it comes to trend, then by all means, you have all the information available to you. If you see it on Pinterest now, if it's trending now, then it could be very important to your customer next summer. So you're right on time.
Correct.
If you do have a customer who is very, very early adopter on the trend curve, then you're going to have to jump through some bigger hoops to find out what we're looking at next fall, what we're looking at next summer. But that's not the majority of us.
Yeah. Agree. And if you are that too, maybe it's finding a supplier that's built to chase the trend with you, right? There are some suppliers out there that have their own in-house trend teams. We have quite a lot of factories that we worked with actually at my former company where they would send us their trend recaps, which is awesome. And they're scouring the market. They're again looking at Asia all over, and they're even telling us, hey, this is what other customers are starting to book. So even asking your factories, if you think trend does have a play at all in your business, your factories are, again, the first ones to usually start developing these ideas and products. So you can even ask them what they're seeing or what other customers are ordering or coming to them with, right, with orders. So I think there's also some intel you can even glean from the factory side just by asking questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And then super far out, I know we talked about this before, but I do subscribe to like a trend forecasting company, and what's really far out to me is so interesting. It's like very futuristic, very, I don't know. It's this like futuristic take on organics kind of. So think about like a futuristic fairy. I don't know, like iridescence, but mixed with like, it's so hard to describe, but I'm seeing a lot of that in like future trends. So I'm curious to see what kind of life that's going to take.
Well, I think the merchant in me takes it down and says like sustainability, which also Pinterest talked about. Like these next generations coming up, it's different than our generation, and the one above us, right? Like sustainability is a way of life for many Gen Zers and below. So if you're thinking about launching a new product-based business, think about your market. Does your market care? Do you care? And that's okay if it's like, you know what? It's not at the forefront of my business model. That's okay too. But if you are trying to speak to a demographic where something like sustainability matters, it should be woven into your product. It should be woven into your messaging, into your packaging, whatever that looks like. And
every piece.
There's so many. I just sent you something on Instagram the other day where it's a trade show where it's all sustainable materials and it's leather being made out of like the leftover grapes from wine. Like it's just insane what people are doing these days, but it's really fucking cool. Like that really could be an amazing handbag line, you know, where they're
Yeah.
bags made from like wine, the just remnants of wine. You know, I'm just saying there might be things that spark ideas from what's happening on a raw materials trend standpoint, right? And sustainability standpoint. So just know that there's like your fashion trends, and there's also trends that are happening from a manufacturing standpoint, from a raw materials standpoint, that could really change the trajectory or even the marketing again of your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So interesting to think about what is futuristic or what is so far out now, but come next fall and 1 year from now, or maybe 2 years from now, it's going to seem such a given.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many times in my lifetime in this industry where I'm like, oh, that's awful. Like I'll never wear that. Or that's not something that will ever catch on.
Yep.
And then I eat my words. I'm like, sure, shit, it did.
I mean, barrel jeans. I remember when they first came out, I was like, that looks ridiculous. And then wouldn't you know, I mean, I wouldn't call these necessarily, they're a take on barrel that work for my body type, but it's just funny because I would never have even taken them off a rack again a year and a half ago, whenever I first started seeing them on like super cool chic women that were, you know, street vibes or whatnot. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I could pull that off. Like I'm definitely not an early, I mean, I'm not the earliest adopter, but I need to see it a little bit out there and like get a little more comfortable if it's something like on that more pushed trend curve for me. It does take a minute for my eye to get there, but
is there anything that's going on right now that's like a bit of a push for you?
Oh, I'm seeing a lot of, well, again, this past summer, like the whole like jorts look.
Oh,
like jean shorts, but like
longish
and wideish and very different proport. I mean, Target even had a big drop, I feel like, this summer that I saw with it. And I was like, yeah, too soon for me. Like not there yet. But I vividly remember when bike shorts started to have a comeback, and I had the cutest designer in my office that would wear her bike shorts with a graphic t-shirt. And I was like, I want to be you, but there is no way I can pull it off. And now that's like my weekend look, which is probably like not cool anymore, but it's just comfortable. And I, again, love a little graphic sweatshirt, like an oversized graphic, like the whole, you know, like Princess Di thing, like I'm in it now. And again, I'm sure that curve's kind of like now on the downtrend, but I remember years ago looking at her being like, oh, I wish I could pull that off. And now I'm like, I'm pulling it off. You know, it just took me having a little bit more confidence, seeing it a little bit more. So I'm not, you know, this 42-year-old mom trying to look like the high schooler. It's like, no, I'm seeing enough other people wear it that I maybe won't get total sideways looks. Cause again, I love fashion, but I'm not necessarily I don't want to be the first one out the gate with it. It's just not necessarily my comfortability as much there.
Yeah.
I also feel like you have a very classic style that probably your trend pieces might come in little bits and pieces, but I feel like your aesthetic has probably been very similar, maybe
very consistent.
See, where mine is like, I'm like very manic. I'm like, I'm into this and then this. So sometimes I don't invest really in a lot of expensive pieces because I get over things. So I hit it and then I'm like, I'm done.
My trend comes a lot in like silhouette and cut. But no, certainly like I'm not huge on a lot of color.
Yeah.
I'm not huge on pattern at all.
Yeah.
Now summer dresses, I'll go a little wild with my summer dresses.
Yeah.
But things for me come much more in like how it hits your body or the silhouette, like the amount of kind of calf or ankle length black pants that I have from various points in my life. And they're all just like I have a Theory pair that I bought in 2010, I think, that hit the ankle at just the right spot, but they're like low rise.
Yeah.
And then I have almost the exact same pair that I bought 2 years ago that are high rise and hit like there at the ankle.
Yeah.
And then a pair that are like a little bit longer that hit the lower ankle that are like a wider, like it's just exactly how the thing fits or how it hits your body is kind of where I try to hit on that trend.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because I tend to wear like more neutrals and more minimalist. And
I'm like, Erin, I'm going to wear hot pink sneakers. Okay. So find an outfit that feels okay if I'm wearing my hot pink kicks, but that's just
leopard pants.
You know, I know, I'm proud of you. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
But I think that you hit on something earlier on, like it's about comfortability to a certain extent. It's about letting who you are on the inside kind of shine on the outside. And when we're talking about personal style.
Yeah.
And, and just doing what like makes you comfortable.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to, again, if you're running a product-based business, there are ways that I am slow, like in a small way, capturing the trend. Like to me, for Piper Mint, it's color. So, but I'm also asking, I have an amazing group of women that I've started a focus group with on Instagram. And so I'm asking them, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I'm comfortable with or not, or what I think is cool or not. It matters what they think is cool. So I also encourage you, crowdsource your ideas. And yes, while you have to be, if my women are voting for a color right now, they're probably not going to see it for another 5 or 6 months, but that still is good information, right? So a color that I thought was going to be the number one color turned out to actually not be. It was like the lowest ranked color. Now it was still important.
Which one was it?
Burgundy.
Oh.
So they loved my cornflower blue. They loved olive green over the burgundy. I wanted to do a chocolate brown. I didn't. I should have probably threw in a chocolate brown because that's what I'm vibing on right now. But I do think that even next fall or even like late summer, like that'll probably be a color that the majority of my women will be like ready for in a pajama version. Right. So and not necessarily that to say that burgundy is trend or not. It wasn't about that, but it was more about what I thought the masses were going to want. They voted differently. So if you have the ability to ask your followers, ask your audience what they're responding to, trend or not, all that matters is like what they actually want from you as a product-based business.
In most product-based businesses, in most circumstances, that's going to be the case. You are like, when we talk about the trend curve, the people who are on like the top end, the most future reaching, they are going to feed the trend to the customers.
Yes.
But that's, 5%.
Yeah.
2% maybe.
Well, I'd probably say to what I just said, it is fair to think about your Gen Zers, or again, like people that are, to your point, really on the cutting edge. Yes. If you're asking for their feedback 6 months from now, it might be irrelevant, but that's still, I'd still say you probably have some runway, right? But you're going to probably have to be asking them conceptual things even earlier. Right. And hopefully if they're that kind of person that shops the trend that way, they'll be able to get there for you.
Well, I guess what I'm thinking about is the chicken and egg scenario. So a lot of people will come into this industry and say, okay, do I give my customer what they already know they want? Or does my trend, do what I put out there dictate the trend? And I would say that there are certain brands that dictate the trend.
For sure. You are very true.
It's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's going to be your top tier designers. It's going to be runway. And honestly, not all designers.
Yeah.
It's like a handful each year are really the ones who kind of have that thing that sparks trend and sets it off for that year. And then everyone else is kind of a follower. And then it's different the next year maybe. But I don't think that if you're a new brand out there, that you should focus on being the one who's setting the trend.
The only other caveat I would say to that is if you have a niche, I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking about good example of this. I mean, if you are known, if your style is a 70s retro throwback vibe, and that is just who you are, and you are garnering an audience that's what they love, right? Or some of your classic dressing, like if you're just a classic dresser, and like, yes, trend will come in subtle ways, but I guess if you have this niche that you've narrowed in on and you're servicing a customer where it's kind of the trend isn't necessarily really pushing you one way or another, I guess that's where I'd also say maybe you lean into what you're doing. Because if if you're a personal stylist and now you're launching your own brand, right? Like obviously your people are following you for a reason, right? So I get what you're trying to say about that. So, where again, my brand, I would definitely say is in the middle of the bell curve. Like it's going to be a moderate customer who, yes, some might be ahead, some might be below. So like I have to kind of play more to the masses with where my brand is at. That's just my target demographic, right? So for me, getting their feedback is really helpful.
It's very valuable.
And I can afford the 6-month runway of a trend cycle and a bell curve going one way or another, right? But if you were, again, really the one trying to start it, or again, you've
Come
come
a very, very unique point of view
Yeah.
that you are known for.
Yeah, 100%. So I think as we're saying all this, we're like, yeah, but there's this, but there's this. And I mean, that's the cool part about it, right?
There's something
Like,
for everybody.
there really is. So I wouldn't get too bent out of shape about how does trend affect my product-based business. Like
No.
it might not, but I can say, a chevron print in today's world is probably not super relevant.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, there's still some macro things that were like very big. And as you start to see that wean out, like, okay, maybe it's time to start looking into what that next,
It thing is going to be.
it thing's going to be. So,
Yeah, but that's a good point, because I think that if you're talking about the top of the bell curve and you're talking about what a largest part of the market is going to want right now, it's not going to be moving so fast.
yeah.
You have
Agree.
some time. I mean, how long, you use Chevron as an example, how long was that a thing?
I mean-
a very long time.
I mean, my first son's bedroom, he had chevron sheets and like it was happening. That was 12 years ago. And I feel like chevron was still happening for quite a while after
Quite
his
a while.
birth as well.
Quite a while. And then, yeah, so it's like, if you're attracting this big segment of the population, you don't have to be moving super fast.
Yeah.
You can use what you see on Pinterest.
Yeah.
You can get your information from the internet without feeling like I have to go see Runway. Like, no, you don't.
Correct. And I would say sometimes trend, as we close out this episode, trend can also be just what personally inspires you, right? Like when
Yeah.
I go on vacation, when I'm in a different city that isn't my own, right? There might be something that I attach onto, and like, it might not even be trend. It might just be inspiration. I'm like, wow, that could be
Right.
really cool if I took this and did this and turned it into that, right? So I just say, keep your eyes open, like be open to new ideas, be open to trying the barrel jeans on, because who knows, they might just look fabulous on you, or they might just make you feel fabulous and cool wearing them,
Right.
So I think it's important to be open, but also not let someone else's trend fully dictate what you feel is right for
Absolutely.
your business.
Absolutely.
So,
Like I wander around in the summer wearing like floor length dresses that have a lot of volume. And I feel like it's just something that I do. It's not necessarily that because it's cool. I just love it.
yeah. So it brings you joy.
It makes me kind of feel like a princess.
Yeah. So there you go. I love it. Well, we should end on that note. So
Yes.
thank you guys for listening to us meander our way through what trend
fall
means.
trend
I know. And go out shopping. Go, even if you're just walking the mall. I always think it's great to see what are people wearing, even at your local mall. It could be very telling. And then seeing what, someone like an H&M versus an Every versus a J. Crew
Versus a Pinterest.
versus a Pinterest versus a Saks. You can get a lot of information just by doing some of your own,
Own intel.
fun research.
Mixing them all together.
Yep. Well, that's it for today. We'll see you next time on
The Sourcing Gals.